Well, let's talk about presentation for a minute. What do you say to your patients in that regard? I mean, is it scripted? Is it a scripted type of message that you have, or is it individualized for the patient's needs?
Yeah, I'm all about demonstration. I love demonstrating something to people so that if there's a prescription change, here's your old prescription, here's your brand new prescription, whether or not we're talking about contact lenses or eyeglasses. And I try and do the same thing with multifocal lenses as well. And as we outline the benefits for patients, but when we put the lenses on the eyes, we black out the distance eye chart. That's the last thing I want that person to see initially when we get the lenses on the eyes. And the reason why is I want that person to realize immediately all the benefits in the lens. And that's going to happen through putting the lenses on the eyes and showing them something that they potentially couldn't see or couldn't see as well with the multifocal lenses.
Some of the products that we fit do such a good job of distance visual acuity in multifocal that I start out with distance. Because the patient looks up there and they're still seeing the 20/25 line, they're still seeing the 20/20 line, and then they look down and wow, I can also, I can still see far, and wow, I can read, and they get a wow moment that way.
And do you find that patients lose more in the distance or lose more at near? And versus their habitual contact lenses,
I'm specific now to the Air Optics multifocal in this particular part of the conversation. Some of the other brands and some of the other things, yes, I agree with you that you put the patient into that lens and you can automatically see where the distance vision came down a little bit. But I haven't found that in this lens. But no, I find that the patient doesn't feel that either thing is lost with that particular brand and that particular lens, so I'm comfortable showing them both charts.
What I try to do is I try to do something similar to what we do with progressive glasses. Is when we take a patient and they put on progressive lenses in the optical, the first thing we do is hand them a near card. Because what we want to show them is, look, you can see way better up close than you ever could before. And we do something similar in our office where we share the near first with the patient. And the reason we do that is because that's most likely the number one complaint that the patient has. I can't see my phone, I can't see my iPad, my computer's blurry. And so as soon as we give them that near vision, we have a win, and we've succeeded at something for the patient, and all of a sudden the patient has something they didn't have before. And then we can take them to the distance. And like you said, with the Air Optics multifocal, most of the time the distance hasn't been degraded or hasn't lost a lot, maybe a little bit, and we get into that terminology, what do we lose? But we're gaining a whole depth of vision.
The demonstration portion of this thing makes me think that what we really do are setting the expectations for our patients through demonstration.
I think the key is more so to not spend a lot of time talking about the negatives, because you're going to diminish the patient's confidence. So for me, I put the lens on. I don't talk about non-adapt. I don't talk about what could happen and what you're giving up. I put the lens on and then wait for their reaction and deal with any concerns as they arise.